have to practice not looking at myself, because now I have a front-facing camera. Yo. Hey everyone, it's Felicia, and welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a really long time since I've filmed a video, but I don't know, maybe it hasn't been that long. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday, and enjoyed your New Year's as well. And yes, so I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up, and hopefully in the next few weeks I'll also be doing my top books of 2014. I know I'm a little bit belated on that, but I've been away the past week and a bit, and I just haven't had time for that, and so yeah, I'm going to do now. The first book that I finished was Colliding with Destiny. I finally finished this book, and I don't know, I gave it 2 stars. I didn't like it very much. My chair is squeaky, I hope you can't hear that. So this book is a devotional book. It's supposed to be a study through the Book of Ruth, but I found this book more to be like Sarah Jakes, the author. It felt more like she just wanted to talk about herself and tell stories about herself, and then kind of compare it to the life of Ruth. A lot of it felt really forced, and it was very repetitive. I did not really enjoy reading this book at all, but I got it for a review, so I wanted to finish it, and now I have finished it, and thank goodness. Like, I would say it's more of an encouraging book. If you're looking for encouragement from somebody's life, somebody who's had a hard life and then has like overcome it and made something of themselves, I guess this might be a book for you. Sarah Jakes, she has been through a lot of struggles in her life, and yeah, I don't know, maybe that's something you're interested in. But yeah, I would not recommend this book. It wasn't great, which is unfortunate because this cover is gorgeous, but you know, whatever. The next book that I finished was My True Love Gave to Me, edited by Stephanie Perkins. I really enjoyed this book as a whole. There were some stories in here that I liked more than others, but yeah, overall I really enjoyed it. I think my favorite stories in here were by for sure Rainbow Rowell's story, Midnights. It's a Yuletide Miracle, Charlie Brown, by Stephanie Perkins. I really love that one. I think that might be my favorite one out of them all. What the Hell Have You Done, Sophie Roth, by Gail Forman. That one was hilarious. I really liked that one as well. And Welcome to Christmas, California by Kirsten White was also one of my favorites. And yeah, those would be my top favorites out of this one. The ones by Kelly Link and Holly Black were not my favorites, but like overall I definitely enjoyed this book, and I will probably be giving it a read again next year at Christmas time. The next book that I read was Let It Snow, with short stories by John Green, Laura Miracle, and Maureen Johnson. And this is a book that has 3 short stories, all taking different viewpoints from different characters, but it's kind of one overarching story. A train derails, or a train stops in a town because of a really bad snowstorm. And so there are different characters on the train and living in that town where the train stops, and it's kind of like how, whatever, they meet each other and fall in love thanks to the snowstorm. My favorite story was actually the part by Maureen Johnson, Jubilee Express. That one was the cutest. That one was my favorite. But I did enjoy this whole book as well. I gave it 4 stars, and I'll probably be giving it a read again next Christmas as well. The next book that I read was an ebook, and that was A Cliche Christmas by Nicole Deese, and that one I actually read because of Amy from Amy C Books. She did a review on it and she liked it, and so I decided to pick it up. It is a story about a girl who actually has a career writing Christmas screenplays, pageant scripts, that kind of thing, and that's her career. So she lives Christmas like all year, and she herself is kind of disillusioned with it with her family. Her mom wasn't really present, and basically when she became an adult just basically left her, and so basically she just has her grandma for her family. And so in the beginning of the story, her grandma wants her to come home for Christmas. Usually they take like a trip to Hawaii or a cruise or something over Christmas, and this year she wants her to come back and help out with writing a pageant as a fundraiser for a girl in her grandma's town that was diagnosed with leukemia. So she goes back to her hometown and meets up with these different people from her past, and it was a cute story. It was very predictable, but not necessarily in a bad way. I enjoyed it. I did like the love story. She goes back and meets a guy from her past that she like hates now. And like, I don't know if this is spoilers, but always in these kind of stories, they hate each other, and then by the end they really come to like each other again and like fall in love. And in this story, it didn't take the whole book. Like, it was maybe a third of the way in, they finally reconciled, and I was like, thank goodness we don't have to deal with this drama through the whole book. I liked it. The writing was sometimes a little bit cheesy. Basically, anytime the main character didn't know what to do, or she was like thinking or stalling, she swallowed. And she just said that so much that it got kind of annoying. And I just, yeah, there are, those things that you pick up on, and then they keep saying it over and over, and it's like, oh my word, can you not think of something else to describe this? But other than that, it was not too bad. It is a faith-based story, but it's not preachy at all. Like, it comes up very naturally, and I really appreciated that. I really like that when that comes across. And I don't know if I'd read it again, but it was good. I gave it 3 stars, I think. Something like that. And then the next book that I read was Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling. It was perfect. 5 stars. What do you expect? I love Mindy Kaling. This book is hilarious, and she has a new one coming out this coming spring, I believe, and I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, this book is basically her recounting stories from her childhood, teenage years, and her early years in becoming a writer, and her first few jobs, and like how she came to work for The Office. And I just, I was laughing. I just think she's hilarious. She has sections in here where she like makes lists and talks about like her favorite comedy moments in television, and I don't know, different things like that. And yeah, I mean, and it's a short book, and it was just excellent and wonderful, and I can't wait for her next one. And then the last book that I read in the month of December was The Invention of Exile by Vanessa Manco. I received that as a review book from NetGalley. That one is the story about a Russian man in the 1920s who comes to the United States, and he moves to the East Coast and falls in love with a woman, and they get married, and shortly thereafter they are deported because he is accused of being an anarchist, and then they move from country to country in Europe, and then they come back to Mexico, and they're living in Mexico for a few years, and then his family is allowed to go back into the States because they are American citizens, but he has to stay in Mexico. And they say, oh, you'll be separated. It'll probably be like a couple months, and while your wife and your children are in the United States, then she'll be able to work on it and get you into the country. And then 14 years passes, and he is still in Mexico, not allowed to come into the United States. And so the book is basically about him missing his family and trying to get back into the United States. This book was horrendously boring. I feel kind of bad saying that because this book was actually inspired by the author's grandfather's actual life story, but it wasn't great. I gave it 2 stars. It was just so dull and repetitive. The plot didn't go anywhere. The characters were not likable. I couldn't connect to any of them. The main character, Austin, he is an unreliable narrator. You don't know if he's crazy or what. There's a character that is introduced, and you don't know if this guy is actually real or if it's a figment of his imagination. And then with about a quarter of the book left, then they just drop him altogether. And like there's never another mention of him. But for the middle half of this book, this character is basically tormenting Austin. He's consumed with him. Like everything he does, he's turning around his shoulder watching this guy. And then all of a sudden he disappears with no mention. I was like, okay, that's great. I could not connect this story. I didn't care about Austin. I didn't care about his children. I didn't care about his wife. Oh, kitty, are you having a little nap? She's grunting. I have to show you my cat. She's so cute. Say hi, Rogue. Hi, kitty. You're so cute. Look at her. She's so pretty. Hi. Hi, Rogie. I think this book would have done well with an editor. There were lots of sentence fragments to the point where it was very irritating. It was very annoying to read. And there were also a lot of repeated sentences in the story. Basically anytime that there was silence, she would just have the word silence with a period. And I was like, you can't come up with a different way to say that the characters just looked at each other and didn't say anything. Yeah, so that book actually took me, I started reading it in August, and it took me until the last day of the year, and I told myself that I was going to finish that book before the end of the year, and I did, and it was just not good. Yeah, that was the last book that I finished in December. So I read 6 books in December, and most of them were good, and one of them was a big letdown, and one of them was okay. That's all that I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye. I have to look at you guys. I can't look at myself. I got a new camera for Christmas, and it has a viewfinder, and I actually can see what I'm doing. And now I'm just like looking at myself, and I have to get used to that. I have to like maybe cover up my face or not have the viewfinder pointed at me when I'm filming. I don't know. Kitty! He's so cute!